I heard about an old man once. Picked up a little girl on the side of the road, chopped both her arms off, and stuck her in the culvert. Left her for dead. I mean, the message a couple weeks ago. Come in here in this here particular machine. Her mother rode along with us. We got here 10 minutes later. Hell, they hit the road. I ain't seen her since. I don't know. God damn it. What it's all about, but... This is a story about a little girl. Walking home from the grocery store one sunny afternoon. Suddenly a truck races up. Two men jump out and grab her. They drag her into a nearby field, and they tie her up, shattering everything innocent and pure. You got some retard come down and sucking on the government teat, come down and scrape it off in the garbage cans. Then the pig farmers slop their hogs with it and shoot them up with every antibiotic known to man. Because the AMA is in all this too. Oh yeah, you think they want me and you healthy? Better think again.
Will you help me?
No, they... And of course the rats are just running hog wild around the place, right? I mean, the people are practically chasing them right into the grinder. Rats and excreta, you know. It's all meat to them. They got the balls to call that a hamburger? Come on. Now you better pull the other one, Uncle Sam, right?
So I was lying there, just looking at the sky. And then I felt something. I don't know. All I know is that I wasn't alone. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't scared of nothing.
Boy, that is a wild story, isn't it? Matter of fact, it was 16 years ago to the week. Now, I was frog gigging right down in Gracie Creek. I come around the corner, and who do I see bogged down to her knees in mud with a frog stuck on the end of her gig? When I was like 13, my mom got remarried to my stepfather, who was a traveling salesman. And he got transferred up here to San Francisco, so, you know, we all came along. Here we are. Here I am.
Mm-hmm. Trip?
When I was 12, my mom got a hysterectomy. He ran off with her nurse, and I haven't seen him since. That's my dad. Like one time I was playing Pee Wee football back in Texas, right? And I dislocated my finger. Mom comes rolling out of the bleachers down, busts through this little group of kids, grabs my finger, pops it back into place, runs up, slaps the coach upside the head, and says, "Let's get the game on!" All right, a few years back, the Rayman here decided he's going to start up a mobile dog grooming business. He doesn't want to be like everybody else, right? No. So he doesn't start it in a van or a pickup truck or something like that. No, the Rayman, he starts it in a Camry.
You know, my pop was a fisherman. Had this old 60-footer. He'd run all over the Gulf. Noisy two-stroke diesel. Rotten to the gunnels, that thing. I mean, I could scrub that deck 3 times a day and it still stunk like fish.
No, she was a bookie, actually.
Fran was a bookie?
Yeah, she was a bookie. She single-handedly established this underground gambling ring at UC Berkeley. Took bets on every sporting event you could imagine, ran numbers, and even hosted a Vegas night at her sorority house.
You're lying.
No, that was Fran. It started back in Thurman. It was near the summer of 1979. We lived right behind the Thurman Public Rose Garden, in the house where they used to keep the gardeners back in the 50s. Dad had gotten a good deal on it back when he and Mom got married. Rebuilt the National Guard C-5A. Flew at 8,000 miles on 2 engines and tried to set it down on the old strip outside of Manchester. Lost 122 men and most of my fuel. It was in the wheat fields just south of Coffeyville, Kansas. It's late November. It's a month of mist. And we were caught in the open. The sun was setting behind us. There was nowhere to run. Twice it came in on us, and twice it missed the heart of us. So one time in school, and they couldn't have been more than 15 years old. It was between classes, and Sally corners Rolf, and she screams at the top of her lungs. She says, "Rolf Bedelia, you haven't me in 5 months." Family friend of Davis, a brilliant young sea captain named Mason Toombs, captain of the CSS Ironclad, Texas. And he got it from a man named Ndigwe, but the important thing is that Ndigwe found this in Labazanga, Mali.
Hey, my dad collects coins.
No, that coin and the Texas were on the Niger River. Now, I also have a letter from the captain's widow alluding to her husband's urgent eastern voyage. I have a sailor's log on an Atlantic clipper who swears on a stack of Bibles he saw a great iron beast steaming 2 miles off the African coast.
I mean, what's the story with you and your father?
He was a goddamn drunk. Left when I was 9. I couldn't compete with the bottle of story. So don't spare me nothing. He crapped his pants yesterday. My wife was out shopping, so I had to clean him up. She got home. I told her what happened. She says, I can't believe it. I said, honey, I can't believe it either. The kid's 4 years old. He shouldn't be doing that anymore. Pun intended. You know what she says to me? She says, Jack, no, not that. I can't believe you finally changed a diaper.
This is the final resting place for 6 members of the 1970 Thundering Herd. The plane crash that took their lives was so severe, so absolute, that their bodies were unable to be identified. July 31st, 1715. A hurricane sinks the entire Spanish treasure fleet off the coast of Florida, including her flagship, the Capitana, which, according to its manifest, carried the Queen's dowry. 40 chests of jewelry and gold crowns, especially crafted in the Orient for the new Queen of Spain. Back in the day, that man used this place for mind-numbing, clothing-optional, week-long orgies. Okay? You know Dean Martin slept in that bathroom? He drank from the bidet and sang the Canadian national anthem in Spanish.
I remember Wayne telling us that one.
I had a client once. He decapitated his ex-wife. Kept her head in the refrigerator.
Nice. Sweet.
The DA got greedy. Tried to pile on 2 unsolved murders. Trick up the evidence, make it look like my guy did it. The word was that within a week after the funeral, Mrs. Nugent had given Bernie Mr. Nugent's $12,000 Rolex watch. Hell, for that kind of money, I bet he did kiss her. But the best trick I ever pulled was this time I arrested 5 deadbeat dads all at the same time. You see, I was having trouble finding them, right? So what I did is I used the annual Hands on a Hard Body contest. So I got them to rig it where they invited these 5 dads who aren't paying child support. Figured the idea of a new truck might get them to come out of hiding. That poor woman stayed frozen stiff for 9 whole months. In a freezer. It took 2 days to thaw her out just so they could perform a proper autopsy. I grew up looking at Oklahoma. On the south bank of the Red River. Sometime since then, we gave our half of the river away. Now the whole damn thing belongs to Oklahoma. I went into this house. I heard an awful screaming coming from inside and the back. When I opened the door, suddenly just whoop, there's this huge, fat man was on top of me, screaming and kicking and clawing and bought him from a man I called an Indian, but I was a Mexican. Said they was 7-league boots, worn by the 7th son of the 7th son. Told me, turned me into a werewolf. That's a lie. I don't know nothing about that. Dude, she's like a dream you don't want to wake up from. She got these birds tattooed on her hands here. Nightingales. Good luck, birds. Now, the Cherokee would wrap their pregnant women's bellies in snakeskin, induce labor, scare the child out. I was 10, swimming about a mile up from here, me and Juniper, son of a bitch. Swam up on me, bit me right here up under the armpit. Juniper got me off to a clinic. Doctor said I should have been dead in 20 minutes. First time I saw her was on this river, just up from here. She saved my life. I was younger than you are right now. When I came to in the hospital and she was there, it's like the whole world just split wide open and come back together new. Hooked up with this guy. He was no good. His name was Hutchins. His family owns a chain of restaurants down in Texas. Met him. He sold her on a pack of lies. He got her pregnant. He dropped her down a flight of stairs after whooping her half to death. She lost the baby, and he made it so. Well, Tom's had lives you never even know about. Grew up
Up north, went to Yale. For a long time, he was paid assassin for the CIA. Lived in Cuba in '63. Shoot, he's killed more people than y'all probably ever met.
Well, you don't know his story. Tom loved a woman more than most men can in 2 lifetimes. They had a good life started together. She was pregnant with a little boy. Birth got the best of him. Tom's been alone ever since.
Mama was a painter. Kind of a gypsy woman, you know? She got tired of all the bullshit, all dash nowadays.
Vermilion Sheriff requested assistance with a 419 cane fields outside of Erath. I'd been on the job about 3 months till then. 2 previous cases were open and shut. It was January the 3rd, 1995, my daughter's birthday. Anyway, that evening, it wasn't even sundown. He decided it was a good time to invite me over for dinner, which I got a problem with. Because I'm thinking about Marty's wife and his 2 kids, and now it's my daughter's birthday, and
He did a deuce at the farm for Dick Wagon. Should have been in a mental ward to begin with.
Give me the second half.
Angola. Some bloods caught him in the shower. Took his balls off with a razor. They were sloppy about it.
this cartel I worked on the border, they had this routine. They duct tape you to a chair that was bolted to the floor. They cut around your face, grip your scalp, yank down, rip your face off.
He was in Nam. Met my mother on leave in Galveston. Time he came back, I was 2. She dumped me on him, then she hauled ass, and he and I moved to Alaska. He was a survivalist, I guess you'd call it. Well, after Houston, I got to a dock in Eagle Pass. And a coyote got me across the border. Past 2 years, I've been working security for a group in San Miguel. Feds never ID'd me, so I figured, hell, we were just about to turn back. Call in parish, state, whoever. I mean, we had the location. We had our suspects identified at the location, Might as well just leave the shit be and hand it off. But that ain't what happened. Heavy shit. Like ferns and whatnot bursting all around us, bark flying off the trees. I mean, we were in a fucking shitstorm. While I was hunkered down behind this old decrepit boat, Captain America, Marty Hart, decides he's gonna run deep into the woods, flank around the back of the house where Ledoux's firing at us, right? Well, he sneaks up behind Ledoux, and just as Ledoux turns, bam. 1988. Accusations of child molestation at a preschool funded by Tuttle. The name of that school is Shepherd's Flock. It shuts down, reopens 2 years later on Pelican Island under the name Light of the Way Academy. Many years ago, I was cursed. Trapped in this cursed state. Cursed to wander the far lands. No comrades, no master. Not even a name or a single memory of the noble warrior I once was. Your story will never end. It will be told by him, and by the people he shares it with, and by the people they share it with, and by the people they share it with, and by the people they share it with, and by the people...
Beetle.
What's the meaning of the tattoo on your arm?
Oh, it's a bird. It's from a poem I read when I was a kid. Bird with no feet, sleeps on the wind. My great-granddad came out here in a wagon with 2 horses and a mule, and, he crossed 6 states before he slowed down, and it's when he got here that he finally pulled those reins back and said, "This is the place." It was April, early '88. Yeah, I was on the balls of my ass, scrambling. Not exactly uncharted waters.